Good morning, children. Welcome back to the online classes. Today I'm going to teach you second chapter of geography, that is land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. In this chapter, we will read about the five major resources, natural resources from which we are getting ample things in life. It is not important to read this long paragraph. It is a small story created to grab your interest to the chapter. So go on to the more important aspects. So the first thing we read about is land. Land is among the most important natural resource. It covers only about 30% of the total area of the earth's surface, and all part of the small percentage are not habitable. So remember, 30% is land and 70% is water. The uneven distribution of population in different parts of the world is mainly due to varied characteristic of land and climate. It means the climate as well, the land is not even everywhere. It means the climate somewhere hot, somewhere cold, and likewise land is also somewhere high hilly mountains, somewhere plateau, somewhere plains. The rugged topography, steep slopes of the mountains, low-lying areas, susceptible to water, desert area, thick forest area are normally sparsely populated. But comparison to these all, plains and river valleys offer sustainable land for the agriculture. Why? Because the plains and the river valleys totally grabs all those things which are compulsory for survival. Hence, these areas are the densely populated of the world. It means comparison to mountain area, plateau, the river valley as well plain areas are very good for the surviving. Let's read about the use of land. Land is used for different purposes such as agriculture, forestry, mining, building houses, road and setting up of industries. It means everywhere we can use the land in different way. Some land we are using as a agriculture field, somewhere mining, and some we use to construct our house. And this is commonly termed as a land use. The use of land is determined by physical factor such as topography, soil, climate, minerals and availability of water. It means where we are getting good soil, good climate, mineral as well the availability of water. These all are the physical factors which are more important for the people, those who are living there. Human factors such as population and technology are also important. A part of these all factors, population and the technology, they both are also very important for the land use patterns. So look here, table 2.1, land uses in selected countries. Among them, India, cropland is 57%, pasture 4%, forest 22% and other use is 17%. So this is the total area of total percentage of area in different fields. Land can also be classified on the basis of ownership as private land or community land. Private land in the sense, if you are going to purchase any plat for the constructing our own building, it is known as a private land. And about the community, where we are going for the collection of fodder, fruit, nuts or any park, hospital, these land are known as the common property resources. People and their demands are ever growing, but the availability of land is limited. Being a human being, we used to get demands more and more. We want to get more and more every day. But comparison to our demand, the percentage of land is very limited. The quality of land also differ from one place to another place. As I told you earlier also that some were plain are there, some were plateau, some were hilly mountains. So these are land is uneven from one place to another place. People start encroaching the common land to build up commercial areas, housing complex in the urban area and to expand the agricultural land in the rural areas. According to their need, the people utilize the land what they are having. Today, the vast changes in the land use pattern also reflect the culture changes in our society. Land degradation, landslide, soil erosion, desertification are the major threat to the environment. Due to the expansion of agriculture and construction activities, we have to go through the land degradation, landslide, soil erosion and desertification, which are very harmful to our natural resources. Either you can say that is very harmful for our land. Have a look over here. Changes in the land use over time. In figure 1, it is a totally village, and after some time the uses of village in different way. Here picture 3rd, it is a city when we having the less population, and the 4th one here the city when we having a too much population. See new buildings, so it means you can find that with the empty place is very less. So this is what the changes in land use over time. As we are using our lands, it is our prime duty to conserve land resources. Let us see how we can conserve our land resources. Growing population, the ever-growing demand has led a large-scale destruction of forest cover and arable land has created a fear of losing this natural resource. Definitely, due to the high population, growing population day by day, according to our need, we are going to cut down our trees just to get the land to build up new factories as well as construct new buildings. So in this way, we are going to lose our natural resource. Therefore, at present rate of the degradation of land must be checked. It means if we want to save a natural resource, then we have to must stop the degradation of land. We have to go through the afforestation, land reclamation, regulated use of chemical, pesticide and fertilizers also be banned. A part of that, overgrazing are some of the common method used to conserve land resources. Landslide is also a Landslides are simply defined as a mass movement of rock, debris and earth down a slope. Actually, landslide is also a major cause of land degradation. It is a mass movement of rock, debris and earth down as a slope. As well, they often take place in conjunction with earthquake. During the earthquake, it used to mostly take place. Sometime in hilly terrain, landslide have been a major widely spread natural disaster. It means sometimes a landslide also become a natural disaster that often strike life and property and occupy a position of major concern. Let's talk about the next topic, that is soil. Before explaining about the soil, I want to let you know about one thing about the weathering the rocks. What is weathering? The breaking up and decay of exposed rocks by temperature changes, frost action, plants, animal, human activity. These all together called as weathering. Soil. The thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of the earth is called soil. Soil is nothing, it's just a small debris which we are getting on that land. It is closely linked to land. Landform determines the type of soil. Soil is made up of organic matter, mineral and weathered rock. Weathering, just now I told you about the weathering, the breaking up and decay of the exposed rock, commonly known as a weathering. This happens through the process of weathering. It means the soil used to made by the process of weathering only. So it used to take more time. And if we want to make our soil fertile, we have to mix the right proportion of the mineral and organic matter. If you will look at the figure, it is pretty self-explained. See here, the topsoil with humus and vegetation. Humus is nothing but the death decay matter of the plants and animals. Next, the browny space, that is the subsoil with the sand, slit and clay. It means this part is full of soil with the sand, slit and the clay. Just beneath that, weathered rock material. Weathered means small rocks and all. And last but not least, that is the parent rock. It means this used to determine the color and textures. So this is what about the soil profile. Next topic here we having factor of soil formation. So let's quickly understand how soil is formed. So there are totally 5 factors that affect the formation of the soil. First of all, parent rock. Remember the rocky layer which is at the bottom of the soil, so that is responsible for the color and texture of the soil, that is the parent rock. It means parent rock used to determine the color, texture, chemical property of the rock. The next factor is relief. Relief is nothing but topography. In other words, what is the shape of the land, whether it is a high altitude area or slope, which determine the accumulation of the soil. So, just think, if your land is evaluated for, then you will have most of your soil accumulated at the bottom of the part of the hill. That's why in the mountainous region you will find rocks on the top and the soil in down. Say that relief is nothing about the altitude and slope determine accumulation of the soil. The third part is flora, fauna and microorganism. It used to affect the rate of humus formation. Humus is nothing but dead decay matter of plants and animals. They act like a natural fertilizer. It is very important. Come to the fourth factor, that is time. It is very important factor. So it used to take a lot of time for the big rock to convert into a fine thick layer of soil, and it is possible because of weathering. Remember? And the last part is climate. It contains temperature, rainfall influence, rate of weathering in humus formation. It means climate, temperature determine the rainfall, and the help of the rainfall you can see the weathering process increases, because if there is lot of rainwater will be accumulated, it wants to move here and there, and when it moves it will carry lot of soil along with itself. So it is what all about the 5 factor of soil formation.